The Boys just keeps getting better and better because, oh my dear God, Ryan having an insane opening scene where he completely obliterates every single soldier like a horror movie was something I absolutely did not have on my bucket list whatsoever. And can we talk about this for a second? Because I thought for a moment this was just going to be another character going absolutely bonkers. But Ryan, I would have never guessed that. But then it kind of makes sense because of him rejecting both Homelander and Butcher at the end of season 4 and also killing Grace Mallory, but also this guy's all grown up now. Like, it's kind of crazy to see an actor grow up while filming a TV show. Like, we've literally seen him grow up throughout the seasons and now he's finally all grown up. Man, they grow up so fast. And now he's more powerful than ever. Then Homelander and Soldier Boy reunite in a pretty uncomfortable way after Homelander literally used him, but even after Homelander literally set him up, Homelander's ego is still bigger than ever. Because, dude, he had to steal the spotlight from Soldier Boy when he's getting presented an award just to publicly say, yo, by the way, guys, I'm his son. So then the attention goes right back to him. Then they talk privately. Homelander tries to apologize to Soldier Boy, saying he didn't know that would happen to him, that he would get infected by the virus. Only for Soldier Boy to do what he does best, brush it off, and then call him a pathetic loser per usual. Which clearly made Homelander really sad. And this shot right here is completely hilarious. Just complete pure silence as the camera pans to a wide open shot of him just standing in the hallway with a picture of himself right next to him on the wall. Like, dude, it is so funny because behind all of these materialistic things that this man owns of himself and just materialistic things in general, he is truly still absolutely nothing. Then fast forward a little bit, the boys run into Stan Edgar, which leads them to Translucent Sun, and I was like, oh boy, this is gonna get real juicy. Because you already know this situation was amazingly awkward because of what, with the boys and Huey literally did to his father. They literally kept him in a cage experimenting on ways to kill him, which all failed pretty miserably until they finally figured it out. Now, Huey's eyes when he saw his son, they were like, oh shit. It's over. He knows. But then he starts saying how Vought were liars and they've been lying to me this whole entire time. But Stan would absolutely never lie to me. It was Homelander who actually killed my father. Then Stan gives Huey the biggest side eye ever, like, yeah, I know, I lied to him too. But please, don't tell him that I actually lied to him because then he's gonna turn on me. And then Huey was absolutely relieved, like, oh, hell yeah. I mean, dude, yeah, screw that Homelander guy. I mean, I can't believe he killed your father. Am I right? But also, what the hell is Homelander on in this episode? First, we see Homelander seeing Madeline Stillwell depicted as Jesus, literally soothing him and telling him, it's all going to be okay, Mr. Homelander. Don't worry. You're the chosen one. And then after all of that, it kind of feel like he low-key just busted one out. Like, bro, what is he doing in this scene? Like, what? Then we get him swimming around, well, not swimming around, him taking a bath in breast milk. And then Soldier Boy walks in and then tells him how big of a joke he is again. We all know Soldier Boy with his absolute absurd one-liners, but this one was actually really good. I also like the Ryan and Butcher reunion too. But one thing that I thought was pretty interesting is when Butcher offered him a way to kill Homelander by basically bombing him, with Ryan wearing the vest. Now, obviously, that didn't happen in the episode at all, but I really thought Ryan wouldn't go for this at all, considering that Butcher has basically lied to him a lot. And that's kind of one of the main reasons why he kind of distanced himself from Butcher. But it kind of makes sense because he hates Homelander the most, and also Butcher is a pretty good manipulator. But then Butcher puts what it looks to be like a tracking device in his coat, and this will make sense later. And I also thought it was kind of funny that he brought a pint back to him to really complete the bargain. Like, because after Ryan took a sip of the beer, he was like, bro, say less, I'll go no problemo. I mean, shit. I mean, men really are simple creatures, man. Buy me a beer and I'll pretty much do anything, right? Now, this scene right here, kind of weird enough, because Homelander just got done, with a firecracker, is actually pretty sad. Yeah, I mean, weird. I know, right? How would this be sad? But it's sad because when Soldier Boy said to her that the only reason he tapped her was to get back at Homelander, to which Firecracker responded saying, hey, that's kind of mean. You shouldn't really talk talk about your child like that? To which Soldier Boy kind of just shrugged off and said, hey, I don't really care. Homelander just thinks he's better than me. She then responded saying, wait, Homelander doesn't actually think he's better than you. And that Homelander is one of the only people she has ever seen look up to Soldier Boy. And he was like, really? No way. Like, it was really cute, but also sad, because Homelander genuinely has never been accepted by anyone, and never has had an actual meaningful relationship with one of his family members at all. And it kind of makes you feel for Homelander, even though he's such an evil guy, because then you start to realize that Homelander is just a hurt person hurting people, that he was never truly born evil, but groomed to become evil. Now, obviously that doesn't excuse the horrific tragedies that he's caused, but it does show you how he became who he is. So then fast forward a little bit after the Deep Noir and the gang pull up in a Cybertruck, I guess, tracking down the boys at Stan Edgar's hideout. They get there and then all hell breaks loose. And hell yeah, man, I love these scenes. This is what I watch The Boys for. And I also love the Maverick versus Huey fight. It kind of reminds me of Fight Club in a way. I mean, because you see Huey essentially just fighting himself, even though obviously he's not fighting himself, but Maverick's invisible, so it kind of looks like he's fighting himself. And I'm not gonna lie, that looked like so much fun for Jack Quaid to film, because dude, don't tell anyone that I said this, by the way. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of reenacted the fight scenes of the narrator versing himself in Fight Club. Not actually hitting myself, of course, just like the movements of being punched when I push my body backwards or something. I don't know. I was in high school and pretty bored and I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know. But then as soon as Maverick was about to give Huey the old 1-2 Mayweather and finish him off, we see Cindy pull up and she looks right at Huey and boom, blood spatters all over. And we think it was Huey because he was the last person we saw on screen. But pump fake, it was actually Maverick she disintegrated. Then Starlight comes in, finishes Cindy off and thinks she killed Huey, but it was obviously Maverick all along. Then the saddest thing happens. Homelander fights his son Ryan. Now, I made a video on this a while back saying that in the scene that we saw in the trailer, Homelander was actually beating Ryan because we didn't see who he was beating in the trailer. And honestly, I kind of wish I was wrong, man, because he brutally beat the dignity out of this poor boy. Now, he didn't die because in the end, we see Butcher touching Ryan and Ryan moves. And he found Ryan because of the tracking device he placed in his coat, or not coat, or just some, I don't know, he placed it somewhere. Now, this kind of reminds me of the Omni-Man beating Mark Grayson to a pulp, because Homelander looks at Ryan and pauses as he delivers his last blow to his already beat up face. And you can see how distraught he looks, like damn, I didn't really want to do this at all, but, you know, you left me no choice. Exactly how Omni-Man was to Mark Grayson. Like, there are so many Invincible references in this show. Well, probably not actually intended to be Invincible references, but, you know, that's how I take it. Because back in episode 1, when A-Train was getting choked out by Homelander, he was literally laughing in his face while being choked out. Kind of like how Conquest was laughing in Mark's face while he was getting choked out. But yeah, this episode was absolutely insane.